trees, your yellow leaves move me. Dancing moves your painted red shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, you're my sailing ship. Guide me when you head for your trip. Right out of this wicked black and into bright sand. Straight toward the warm sun and into his.
Hey, this is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. And this is the wrong time. This is the live stream we usually do at 5 p.m. UK time, and the clocks changed last week, so it's actually 4 p.m. But Rowena, my VA in the Philippines, didn't know that, so she scheduled it for the same time, which is actually 4 p.m. So this is why I'm here early, and then there's nobody else here because, screw it, why not? So if anybody is out there, it's like a completely different time. And so I noticed it about half an hour ago, and I was on the fence about whether or not I should just go ahead and do the live stream now or wait for an hour. And then if anybody was waiting, then they would have to be. And then I looked online, and it said like 8 people were waiting, so we'll just do it now. So this week, okay, so this is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. We answer questions. We have we shoot the bull, but right, Wallpaper Lee, you're the only one here so far, as far as I can tell, which is, cool. We'll just hang out, just the two of us. Be like a 2-person live stream. It'd be fantastic. So this week, the big news this week was the Firebase Summit. So I don't know if you guys have been following that, but I've been watching a lot of the Firebase Summit rules. Or sorry, the Firebase rules. I've been watching a lot of the stuff on the new features of Firebase that came out this week. So we've got the new authentication in the CI. They've got the GitHub integration, so you can have a full continuous integration and everything going. But so I've been thinking a lot. So this is what I see, this kind of stuff, and all of a sudden I started thinking about going from Bitbucket, which is where I had my all my Git repositories. I think I'm moving that to GitHub, just because it seems like everything integrates with GitHub and nothing does with Bitbucket, unless there's something else there to do. But anyway, that's been kind of interesting to watch. I mean, I'm getting a little bit more excited about. I have a few Firebase projects, and I'm thinking I'm going to try this. The continuous integration. One of the things I've had issues with, it was going from dev to production, so that would be a lot easier. Some of the things they talked about there and everything, so that's kind of cool. So Wallpaper Lee is here. Metallic W is here. Hey, how's it going? Dylan, what's up? Let's see. Stream says 2 hours show, problem solved. Oh. Inacia, how's it going? And Zednek says, I love chili dogs. Let's see. And then we got Wallpaper Lee says, have you ever used Airtable as a database? I've never even heard of Airtable. I mean, how? It kind of bothers me that I'm not even. Is it really new or is it just really obscure? I remember I had this job once where I had to use Informix, so I knew SQL Server, I knew MySQL, I knew Sybase, but Informix was like this one thing that this little company I worked at, they were working with. And apparently I think it was a big corporate type of database system, but I'd never heard of it before that, and I learned it. But let's have a look at it now, because I've never actually used anything like that. And again, I'm still kind of a little bit on edge thinking, should we do the live stream now? But anybody who watches this in the replay and you've missed it, my apologies. Let's see. How do I don't know if any of you guys ever have trouble with like going from. Let's see. Open up a new one. New window. Let's have a look at Airtable. I'm going to show my screen. Hey, how's it going? All right, so Airtable, rich media controls, perfectly your team's needs. So I don't know about you guys. Whenever I look about any new tool or framework, I always go, I always go straight for. Do I go to features? No. Do I think how good could this help me? No, I go straight to pricing. Okay, let's have a look. Pricing, 20 gigabyte doesn't look too bad. Product. Yeah, is this okay? Yeah, I'll have to have a look at this wallpaper league because it is this the kind of thing where they're just obscuring the database so that you're using sort of like okay. So one of the problems I have with tools like SharePoint or some of those tools was not that they were not useful. They were useful, but they were taking things that were a little bit complicated and trying to dumb them down. And for like somebody coming in who was not technical or they were not a developer, then that was easy, but it gets really frustrating when you're a developer, you're using something that's not technical. And I can understand like you have to, so I started out learning Microsoft Access databases. So, and not even using SQL within Access. I was using whatever, the drag and drop interface, so I could link tables. And that kind of helped me to like learn how SQL worked. But it was also this big crutch where I knew a lot of SQL developers who were like, they were like, I was like nothing to them, right? And eventually, when I was able to learn what seemed to be super complicated, it's so easy now, but like it seems so complicated using SQL, like when I was in Access database, that in the end, I benefited tremendously by just making that leap and learning the language itself. And I was wondering if Airtable is something like Access, where you're actually doing something like that. Robert T, hey, how's it going? Robert T? This is this weird week, right? Where we're in the States, it hasn't been that we haven't set the clocks back, but in England we have. So a lot of times, like my schedule with my team in the Philippines is off by an hour now. I talk to my family, and it's like an hour difference. Where normally it's like whatever 5 hours to the East Coast, 8 hours to the West Coast, and now it's like 7 or 4 or I don't know. But everything's kind of messed up this week until like Sunday when the rest of the clocks go. But so some of you guys, it's going to be like the normal time for you, and some of you guys you might miss it because an hour earlier. So okay, wait. Jatin says how to find clients. From where do you get clients? So this is a good question because I've done both inbound and outbound type of stuff. So when I first started the company, I did like a lot of people do, where I set up a website and then I try to do a little bit of SEO, and I'm trying to like, and then nothing happened, right? And in the end, I did a little bit of cold calling, and I'm really bad at cold calling. I hate doing it. And in the end, I found that, just producing. So in the end, what works for me now, and again, it takes a while to get to that point, is producing content. And content marketing is something that it's so ubiquitous. Like everybody's doing content marketing. Like go onto LinkedIn and everybody here's 5 reasons why such and such and such and such, right? I'm so sick of listicles and blog posts and all this kind of stuff, but we kind of all do it, right? And one of the things about the YouTube videos is just putting content out there on a frequent and regular basis. That's how a lot of the clients find us now. And then we also got the SEO stuff. So we got a lot of SEO on the site. So when people find stuff, and that's so a lot of the stuff we're getting at the moment, or we have been getting over last year, has just been inbound. Now I've done a lot of stuff where I've done like tenders. I've done a few tenders in the past, and I just found that so tedious, right? You're going after, so you got things like government tender websites you can look at, and the downside to those is that you're competing against everybody else. So you're just saying, oh, everybody else can do all the work and quote for this project, and then they're not really looking for, they're not looking for you specifically, which is one of the big benefits of putting content out there. Because if somebody comes looking for me, they're usually looking for me and not whatever, any old random app developer. Again, it's one of the problems I have with using something like Upwork. Upwork is you're in competition with a whole bunch of people whose profiles look a lot like yours, right? Or, even if you're more experienced and you have a better profile there, you're still it's kind of a different type of thing. I've done, like I said, I've done the cold calling. I've done a bunch of networking events. Like a year or two ago, I was doing all the networking events, and in the end, it was just so much to do. It was so much to try to get people in. And this is one, like you may notice, I've noticed in the past few weeks, past few months since the pandemic has started, there's a lot of salespeople out there who are, I don't want to say they're preying on it, but I think they need, because their business is drying up and everybody's business is drying up. So like most of the time when I get a call lately, it's somebody who wants to sell me their lead generation service. So it's like, I could help you bring in new customers for Overpass. And I was like, yeah, I'm not interested, thanks. Right? We're good. We have more work than I can handle. In fact, I'm turning down work. Right at the moment, it's like like managing the stress of having too much work is just too much because I've been hiring developers. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Right? So it's just like that's a bit difficult. But I'd rather be in that position. Right? You want to be in the position where you have so much work coming into you that you're turning it away, rather than you're desperate for work and then going out and looking for it. So if there's it's like in baseball, you get, as long as you can get them to throw the ball to you, you could choose your pitches, right? But if they're not gonna pitch to you, then you got to hit whatever they throw. All right. So this is how's that for a baseball analogy? So for me, being able to build your portfolio is probably more important than just making yourself available, right? Cold calling, I guess is helpful. I mean, anybody who's a salesperson will tell you the cold calling and actually going out there and cold emailing, whatever, is effective. But for me, I always think if I want something, like if I want a plumber, I'm not going to wait for a plumber to call me. I'm going to go out there and Google something, say who looks good. If I want anything, I'm going to be able to go out there and do it. So that's why I think the inbound one works better just for me, right? And it's, if somebody comes, like, and again, doing videos, like, which I highly encourage anybody out there to do, like when somebody calls and they want to do an app, it's very likely they already know who I am, or even if they just found it like through a web search, they may, like the website has a few videos on it, they might see some of the videos, and then they know who they're talking to when they're on the phone, right? So they know they can relate to me and all this kind of stuff. Thanks everybody for hitting the thumbs up button, by the way. I know we already, like even before we started, we already had 2 thumbs down, but bless them. Let's see. But yeah, so Jatin, I mean, it's everybody out there is looking for clients, and there's so many different ways to do it. The best way you could do it is build up your portfolio and build up your profile so that you're not going out there looking for people in desperation. It's that they're looking for you, which means you have to invest in doing your own projects. Any indie developer out there who's putting out their own applications and thinking that my application's not working, or I'm not getting the downloads I wanted to be financially free from this application, you still have that portfolio. So you still have something you could show potential clients. If they're looking for somebody to build their own application, you could say, oh yeah, I've done this, this, and this. And I've worked with a lot of companies who don't even have their own portfolio, right? They'll show me their other people's apps. They'll show me the clients' applications, but a lot of times it's like different designer, different, it could have been different people working on different stuff. And it's, I don't know. This is my opinion there. Let's see. Robert T says, any tips for running Apple search ads for promoting an iOS app? What's a good max cost per install to use? This might be a good one to go over to App Masters and ask Steve about this one, because when it comes to Apple search ads, I have not had very much success with it at all. I tried it when they first came out, and people. It was one of these things where people were raving about it, and I spent a bit of money so I could see whether or not I could get the same results, and I just didn't. It was just I didn't see the same results on the Apple side of things, and it's just so I've very little experience with it, just because I didn't see the benefit. I kind of felt like I was paying for something which should be discoverability. I'm paying the people who are in charge of discoverability to make my app discoverable, right? And which I guess is what Google does through Google ads. But yeah, Robert, I wish I had like some sort of idea, but I don't. Ignacio says, Eric, one question, one answer, possibly. How much time did it take you to get an interesting income with apps per month? And it took like a year and a half, right, to get something where it was like right now it's low. Right now, a lot of the income comes through client work. Again, because I built up the portfolio, right? It's like, it's not, people who come to Overpass for work, they're coming specifically because of the portfolio and the track record, right? But in the beginning, I didn't have any of that, right? I was like going out looking for clients, not getting anything, and then doing the own applications, and then getting that revenue comes in, where it was getting what, 3,000 or 4,000 a month, which was like, it was enough to live on. Of course, I was still trying to build up the company, and I had like a team and all this kind of stuff. And so it was, but that took about 1.5 years, and it was like constantly tweaking things, right? This is the thing. When you put an app on the App Store, you don't just, or on the Play Store, you don't just put it out there and then hope that everything's going to be fine, right? It's you keep tinkering with it, try new things, because there's always some little thing you could do that might just turn things around. And sometimes you make a little change and nothing happens. There's times where I may change and I thought, I think some of the things that, when I think about some of the things that I've tried over the years, that I thought, this is gonna turn things around. This is gonna get those downloads up. Like, I think I put in the, one of the things I put in the description of the app is like, if you like the app, say gnarly or whatever. I was like, kind of the same thing I did in the early videos, right? And I thought that would be like something that would get the reviews up, and nothing. Lots of stuff, raising the price, lowering the price, making the price really cheap, saying we have a sale, right? Putting an app on sale never worked for me. Maybe because I didn't have pop-ups within the application itself, right? It was maybe if I had something like a push notification to say for today only it's on sale, but no, I would just lower the price and put a few screenshots up to say it's on sale. And that, that didn't quite work. That kind of thing would only work if you had like a free application and you had like an in-app purchase or an upgrade, and then you lower the price, or a subscription, even more ideally. But yeah, to me it took a little while. David, hey David, how's it going? So hi Eric, I know you do a lot of client work. Which app dev framework seems to be most popular in the UK market, React Native or something else? So I like Flutter, but whenever I look at what people are looking for, a lot of people are looking for React Native. React Native seems to be really popular at the moment for some reason. And again, I've said before, I'm not a big fan of React Native. I like Flutter. I like, and Xamarin is something I started to get into, because all these frameworks are improving, right? And it's like, if you were looking for but the thing about David, about the clients very rarely tell me what framework or language they want to use. I mean, they might say what platform. I mean, if they want iPhone or Android or cross-platform, but even the corporate ones, they don't really have like. And I have one that said they wanted to go with Xamarin because they were a .NET shop and their developers will understand it. And when I hand it all over to them, then they'll be able to understand that kind of code. But more often than not, they don't really care what the language is. They kind of don't understand how all of that works. Even the .NET stuff, I'm working with developers who are way, way better than me in the .NET stuff, because I used to be a C# developer, and so getting back into it the last few years. But for some reason, the whole app thing kind of throws them. Like, the fact that I say, oh, you need a Mac. You need a Mac. You need a Mac. You need this part. You need to do an Xcode. That part you need to do and whatever, right? And you have to sign the package. All that stuff is just sort of like, just take it. Just do whatever you want to do with it. Which it does to all of us when we start, right? I don't know, the first time you ever sign an iOS application, or even to generate a key store file, it's like, dude, this can't be right. This feels like I'm hacking something. Why does everything else like have an IDE, but for some reason when I want to generate a key store file, I got to go through all these additional steps? But let's see. Dylan says, do you use mediation? I was using AppAdeal and had an AdMob limit for 2.5 months. When I switched back to AdMob, the limit went away. I don't, do you think they were related, Dylan? I mean, the only mediation I've used is AdMob mediation. I did use AppAdeal for a while, like when they were first starting. I think they bought Corona, and there was this this Corona plugin that they had, which looked pretty good. And you know, and it was like you had to install, like, I don't know if it's still the same way, but this is like 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where you had to like install a Chrome plugin, and then you ran it, and it would go through all your AdMob properties and create like through the client side, you know, whatever scripts, and it would go through and copy all those keys and move or create those keys or whatever it was. And that freaked me out. That freaked me out that I installed a plugin that was going through my AdMob, right? I kind of thought, you know, like, yeah, when it comes to Google, I'm like, you never know what they're gonna throw a fuss about. So, you know, I was kind of like that. You know, that's like, I did it on one application. I did not see a huge benefit from it, so I thought I'd just go back to AdMob because I was making more money from AdMob at the time. But they might be much better now. So okay, let me ask the rest of you guys. Who out there is doing Appadeal? Let us know, because that'd be interesting to find out. Let's see. BKG Nottingham, UK checking in. Oh, dude, you guys just went into tier 3 today, didn't you? God, that's so, like, Oxford is going to tier 2 tomorrow. And I thought it was going to be the whole of Oxfordshire, but it's just Oxford City. But yeah, things are going weird. Making English Fun says, long time no see, Eric. Nice to see you doing well. Thanks very much. Have you changed your icon? App 404, what's up, Eric? Not much, you know, just hanging, just chilling, just, you know, passing the time. Yeah. Dark nights. So the clocks went back last Sunday, so, you know, you got that seasonal affective disorder where you're just like, dude, I can't believe it's already dark now. Bhupinder says, hello, Mr. Legend, Eric Wroolie, sir. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. Neuralgorithmic. Why is your name always so hard to say? Hey, how's it going? I'm doing all right, thanks. Let's see. Who are those devils who always dislike the live stream? I don't know. Okay. All right. That's fine. There were two dislikes before it even started, so they don't dislike this live stream. They just dislike me in general, but that's cool. You know, maybe it's my, I don't know, maybe it's the accent. Let's see. Hit like, everyone. It's not so easy for these live streams. From hats off to you for doing these for doing these live streams. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Bhupinder. I know I just sort of, you know, show up and turn it on, and I haven't done a video all week, you know, just doing the live streams lately. I had a comment a couple weeks ago from somebody saying, I like these old videos you used to do, not the new live streams. So it's like, I'm just kind of, you know, the live streams are we're just hanging out as developers. We're just talking, right? Like if we were sitting at lunch together, this is the kind of stuff we'd be talking about. Hey, did you see did you see the Firebase Summit? Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? As opposed to, I'm going to give you a tutorial, and we're going to have a topic, and we're going to suggest something. So, Leonel Fonseca, hey, greetings. Phil Laisho says, love it. Cool. Phil, you look badass in your photo there. Billy's here. Hey, Billy, how's it going? Let's see. Zenek says, Eric, can I have your thoughts on my app, Suntime, on Google Play? It's had pretty good reviews, but a number of users is stagnant. I've only been a few in-app purchases per month. Let's have a look at it. Let's see. I'm just gonna look at the Play Store. One of the things I find is it's really difficult to share an Android application on screen. Let's have a look. All right, so Suntime, sunrise, and sunset widget. Okay, cool. So is it only a widget? I mean, how do you monetize? So how do you monetize it, or do you click on it and then you should? So let's see. We've got 10,000 plus installs. Not bad. Updated on the 12th of July. Permissions view. Let's visit the website. So it's stagnating, huh? What are your downloads looking like lately? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this on our. I just want to see your website here. Colors game, dude. Okay, this app here, like, like compared to this one looks so much nicer. I mean, just in terms of aesthetically. Just pointing that out. So let's have a go on App Annie and have a look. And again, as I said before, I only use the free version of App Annie. Come on. I use a free version of App Annie. I don't have anything like special here. Anybody can look up their own applications here. Okay, sun time. Here we go. I can go down to the ASO keyword section. See what you're ranking for. Sunrise, sunset, you're ranking number 12. Sunset and sunrise, sunset time. So you're doing pretty good in terms of what I'm looking at. It defaults to your country. So let's go to the United States. Sunrise, sunset time, sunset. So it's pretty consistent. Rank number 9, number 10. For some reason, what is this one? You have this big drop over here. Compass. Oh, yeah. Who cares about that one? And you've seen this sunrise, sun space rise has gone down a little bit. I don't think anybody puts a space in it though, really, does they? Sunset timing. So I mean, yeah, what is on the top spot? Let's have a look. Let's do sunrise time. So you should be ranking number 12. Here we go. So number 1 is Sunrise Companion by Sunrise. Look how consistent these icons are. Sunset Companion. Ooh. Sunset, sunrise, sunrise. So set time. I'm going to look at the top one, see what kind of downloads they're getting. So they're at 50,000. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what your downloads are like, and if they've peaked or they've fallen at a certain time. And like one of the things I would do, and again, it's just as an initial pass through. I'm not totally an ASO guy, but I would look at these rankings and see if those coincide with anything on your Google Play console. If you look at your Google Play acquisition report, you should also, if you have enough searches, you should be able to see what people are actually searching on and see if you can get those keywords up in there. But let's see. Great says, I haven't been keeping up with the channel lately, but do you develop native or cross-platform? Mostly cross-platform. Yeah, almost entirely cross-platform. It's been a few years since I've done any native development. So, and when we talk about cross-platform, yeah, I'm using like Xamarin or Flutter, one of the cross-platform frameworks. I used to call them hybrid, but and I used to do a lot of Ionic development. But yeah, a lot of it now is cross-platform, and that could, I mean, there's so many cross-platform frameworks out there. You've got you've got Unity, you've got Xamarin, you've got Flutter, you've got React Native, you've got Ionic, you got all that kind of stuff. So, and there's more coming all the time. But yeah, I mostly do cross-platform. So can you take a look at my app? Says Neuralgorithmic. Look up Neuralgorithmic, and it is the to-do list. Okay. Well, that's good. It's so easy to spell, Neuralgorithmic. All right. Let's see. Algorithmic. To-do list. Okay, here we go. Oh, ooh. Okay. Let's see. You're using a very small screen resolution for your screenshots here. I'm gonna play the video, but I'm not gonna do the audio because I got like let's see, cool. Now, one of the things I think about, so I think it looks cool. It must be really tough. You got 1+ installs. Eesh. So released on October 26th. Oh, that's only a couple days ago. 1.0. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you have to see how it goes. For me, I would think, like, I've tried to do like to-do list apps like when I was first starting. That's kind of like one of those things when you're like learning how to do something. You do like a to-do list or something, or like a chat app or something like that. And there's so many of them out there, and there's so many that are already really well established. Like I use Todoist because it integrates with my computer, but also with the Amazon speakers, and I can just tell them, add this to the shopping list, and it'll just do that while I'm in the kitchen, everything like that. So it's all that infrastructure. So, but I think it looks good, and the video looks good. I just wonder how difficult it would be to rank for like a to-do list application, considering how much competition there is out there. But I hope you do. And he said, AdMob revenue has been pretty good for me recently. In-app purchases are better. That's good. Tips for app upgrades: make the price $2 to $3 higher and you will get the same amount of installs. Yeah, you also have a lot more room to pay for advertising if you need to too. Let's see. Boopinder says, which is the best place or market to trade apps? I've never sold an app or anything like that, so I don't know. Neuralgorithmic says people who are willing to pay 99 cents are willing to pay $5.99. This is true. I have found this. Like me, I think I had a client once say to me, what if we just charge them like 10 cents, then and then we'll get like, I think we were talking about one of my applications, and I was saying how many, I was getting whatever, a few thousand downloads a day on that. And he said, well, if you just got everybody to pay like whatever, $1, then they would get all this stuff. I said, well, he said, or if you had 10 cents, you would get 500 of whatever. And I thought, well, it's not the price, it's the purchase activity, right? Once they decided to make a purchase, there's a lot more wiggle room you have there. It's going from 0 to 10 cents or whatever the minimum is you have to do is a bigger leap than going from $1 to $3, or whatever, 3 to 5 or something like that. I mean, maybe going from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or something would be a bit of a bigger gap. But for the most part, it's just making that purchase at all, right? Going through that whole process. If somebody is not a purchaser, and I think a lot of people just aren't the kind of people who make purchases. They're just they'll go with the free version, and they're happy with the free version, and that's why we have advertising. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. All you have to do is get over the barrier for payment. That's it. That's it. It's that barrier for payment, and then there's no sense. You get over that barrier. They go for 99 cents, purchase, especially if it's not a subscription. If it's just like a one-off type of thing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Of course, if it's a remove ads, if all you're going to do is remove ads, then you're going to make a lot more from that 99-cent payment than you would from the advertising revenue, depending on the application, rather. But depending on which application it is. Dylan is right. I was facing the same problem with Appadeal mediation. Oh, really? So when you moved it from Appadeal, you actually got the limitation removed. Interesting. My AdMob also got restricted for 2 months. Once I switched back, it's working normal now. Oh, God, yeah. You know what? Another thing about mediation networks is like you're going through something else, right? You're going through something else, and you don't know if you're getting the pure AdMob experience, right? And I'm sure they don't want something else as an intermediary between serving the ads to the application and actually paying. And of course, Appadeal has to get some sort of cut from it. Rodrigo's here. Everybody, Rodrigo's here. All right, thanks. Glad you made it. UK Baz, hey, how's it going? Oh, I thought you'd dress up for Halloween. I know I was gonna. Halloween special. I know Halloween is America's favorite holiday. I love the Gumshoe Black and White episode. I know I should have saved the Gumshoe Black and White episode for today, but I thought about putting on makeup and everything like that, and it was just, dude, I know it's I should have done something. I should have done something. I've got nothing. I should have at least, yeah, dressed up a little bit. And it's really weird because I'm living in the new flat and I'm thinking, should I get some candy in case, well, candy or sweets if you're in England. Should I get some sweets in case, anyone comes trick-or-treating tomorrow? But it's also like, don't really want to, because the whole COVID thing, the parents are like worried, and some parents are worried, some parents are like, just let them go out. And it's got to be, I think it's got to be tough as a kid if you're not allowed to go outside and you see all your friends outside, right? When I first moved out here 22 years ago, Halloween wasn't a big thing in England. I mean, it was like there wasn't a whole lot of trick-or-treaters, and I took my kids out trick-or-treating, and we would see, like, they would see their friends from school, like, like, oh, hi, like, and I felt kind of bad for them because we're out there just doing this, like, their parents were like, no, we're not gonna go do that. We're not gonna go beg at people's door with, so, but yeah, I know, UK Baz, you're right. I should have worn something. What do you think is the best way to make marketing of a new app? Google ads, search ads, ASO, Facebook, etc. I think the best way, but probably the more expensive way, is to use Facebook, and it depends on your application. Do you want to just do a shotgun approach, which is get in front of as many people as possible, or do you have like a targeted user demographic that you want to put it in front of? If you have a targeted user demographic, and you should have a targeted user demographic, then you want to use Facebook ads because Facebook could tell you exactly, the right type of people. I want to show this ad to people who like this. I want to show this ads to people who follow this other thing. I want people who have specifically liked or talked about something else. Whereas if you use something like Google ads, I mean, it uses machine learning, so it might be able to pick it up. You don't have a lot of control over that kind of stuff. At least not in my experience. UK Bass says, open up a public Google Doc so people can add links during the stream. It may help. Dude, that's a good idea. That is an excellent idea. How many people can edit a Google Doc at the same time? I wonder. Yeah, maybe we could try that. We'll do that next time. Shahabas. Hey, Shahabas, how's it going? Happy Friday, Eric. Is it possible to keep the Android notification bar locked programmatically? I mean, if a user tries to pull the notification bar down, it should go up as soon as the finger is lifted. I wouldn't think so. That's part of the operating system, isn't it? I mean, it's application. So, I mean, if the user tries to pull down the notification bar down, it should go up as soon as the finger is lifted. I can't think of any way to do it unless you went into like kiosk mode. Like we have some clients that have they're using an Android device, but they're not using customers' Android devices. They have their own tablets or their own phones, like specifically for a certain purpose, like stock taking or whatever. So in those kind of situations, they want kiosk mode, which means you could take away on Android, you could take away all the buttons and getting to the menu and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I don't think you could do it because you would think how intrusive that would be for the application. Now I could be wrong about this. I mean, it's but I wouldn't think so. Let's see. Rodrigo says, if you have your Android device connected via ADB, you can use Viscurb or SRC copy, SCR copy. Okay, cool. Oh wait. Thanks. Need to check out App Annie. Okay. Rodian. Hey, Rodian, how's it going? Hey, Eric, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Doing good. Good. I'm healthy. So many people are not healthy at the moment. He said, like in the news today, that 500,000 people had COVID last week or something like that in the UK, and it's So yeah, I'm healthy. I'm good. I am displaying live stream from your camera using Fragment. Do you think it's okay if I let the status bar, clock, etc. showing, or should I hide it? Live stream from camera using a Fragment. Do you think it's okay if I let the status bar, clock, etc. showing, or should I hide it? It depends on your application. Like if you want like a fully immersive experience, like a game, You don't want that clock showing, right? And this, like, we go either way on this, whether or not we want to show that status bar. Like for me, if it's a utility app or like an app and not a game, I always think that, yeah, you probably should show it, because it kind of sucks if you, like, again, if you want to pull down or you want to see if you have a notification or even to see what time it is, have to leave and go back into it. But I think, yeah, I think you should show it if you can. This is my opinion. A sheepdog says, "Can you say the word?" What is that word? Caramel. What? Yeah, caramel. Did I say it wrong? Did I say it wrong or did I say it right? Or am I like, are you doing one of those things like a Mission Impossible where you're building a soundboard, so like very slowly over time you could say, this is Eric saying ordering ice cream or something. I don't know. What's your opinion about app gallery apps? I haven't looked at Mujib. I haven't actually looked at these. What are app gallery apps? We're talking about for the Huawei. Is that what it is? Huawei app gallery? I've never used them. Mujib, have you used them? What's your experience with it? Let us know, because when it comes to a Huawei store, I talk a good game, but I haven't actually done anything on it yet. Neurorhythmic says, my iPhone calculator app is getting some bad reviews and lowering the ASO below some of my competitors. Can you take a look at some of the reviews? Are you sure? You do want to draw attention to the bad reviews? All right, let's have a look. All right. iPhone calculator. Neurorhythmic. Let's see. iPhone calculator. Okay, so, well, you don't. Okay, you got 44 reviews. Ayush from the live stream, he's reviewed it. That was good, nice of him. Size is a bit bigger. Make the size a bit bigger like the iPhone. We've updated the app to all the buttons the same size and proportion of iPhone and iOS 3. We have something like iPhone. So yeah, you can't actually see any of the. Let's see. Let's show the 1 stars. Ads after every equal tap. That's a bug. 2-star. There's not that many. I mean, yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, no algorithmic. I don't see anything. Street Coder says, Eric, your feedback. Qatar automate search car boat. Fadi. Okay. All right. I'm gonna assume that all these words are part of an app name. Have a look. We'll do a search here. Qatar automate search car boat. Ah. Okay, 11 reviews. Okay, is it just me, or is it just because I'm looking at it? Let me have a look at these screenshots. It seems to be like a low resolution device. Or am I just cool? Request specify the budget. We'll automate, keep you update. Yeah, update. I think there's some like the English on it could be a bit improved. I don't know if English is a target language. Let's see. What type of vehicle are you looking for? Yeah, I think if you had like a larger device size, you might the screenshots would look a lot nicer. Don't waste your time searching for cars, trucks 2 days a week. So automate. So you have the what's that? The Arabic here. Do you have it like localized into different languages? Oh yeah, I was working for to use. Um, I can't tell what it does. Don't waste your time searching for cars, boats, 7 days and weeks. Instead of that, assign this out. I don't understand what it is. Is it, are you searching to buy a car? Or, I mean, I think that would be like the one, buy a car, rent a car. I think that would be like, there's one big keyword here in terms of what it actually does. That's just my thing. MS Ethio tutorial says, hey, how to set up a new Play Store account after termination. I have not done that. I mean, are you continuing to appeal the other one? Because I don't know, from what I've heard, it's really difficult to do because I don't know if they track your IP address or whatever, but it's difficult to just pick up and start a new one if they think that you're, if you're associated with it. But has anybody else done it? Because I've never done that. I've never had to set up another Google Play account. See, Rodrigo says, there will be one Friday the 13th. You got 2 weeks to dress up for that one. I could do it. I should have wore something. I should wear something to, oh, man. Let's see. Hey, Trump or Biden? Yeah, I think either one of those guys will win. Who do you think will win? I think it'll be Trump or Biden, most likely. I mean, if it's anybody besides Trump or Biden, true, that's going to be weird. Hi, Eric. Nuno says, hey, Eric, how are you? I really like your content. Thanks. I really like. I'm about to launch my first app. Any suggestions for reaching as many users as possible? I think just getting it out in front of as many people as possible. But like, do whatever you have to do. You could do. You see, everybody's trying to get in front of people all the time, and so look at what they're doing. You can put it onto. You could create advertisements, but if you don't have money for ads, you can put it into Facebook groups until they kick you out. You could put it into, look for people who are searching for what might be interested in, and just tell them about it because they might be talking about stuff that they're interested in. You could, it's really just trying to get it in front of as many people as possible. And even so, like, sometimes I've had somebody say that, the reason people want to look at their apps on the live stream is not because they want my feedback on it. It's just to get it out in front of people, which, I'm fine with that. That's fine. It's just, it's whatever. I think one of the things I don't like is when people put their links to their applications in my YouTube comments, because usually it's just like, download my app, right? It doesn't say anything about it, right? Your app has a story and you should tell the story, right? It would be like the same as saying, come into my shop, right? It would be, what does your shop sell? Why should I pick that over anything else? All this kind of stuff, you have to tell the story about why it is. And a lot of times you just see that, just send out a link, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Rodrigo says, App Gallery is good. We should all post our apps there. It gives me a few extra downloads. Really? Okay, so Rodrigo, here's my question. Listening? Did you have to change anything for in-app purchases? Did you have to use any special libraries? Or what kind of stuff did you have to do? Or see, my questions around those would be like, do I have to change anything for in-app purchases? And do I have to change anything for push notifications? I mean, for those situations where I'm using them. Mujib says, I just up to the task to have apps on App Gallery. I will let you know when I upload the apps. Yeah, that sounds cool. Colt Ease, hey Colt, how's it going? Eric, your personal app revenue, how's it been with the lockdowns? Improvement? What percentage of the app revenue of your total yearly? It's really small. My app revenue is way lower this year than it has been before, and that's not because of the lockdown. That's because of the termination. So back in February, before the lockdown happened, my Google Play account was terminated, and it was like I got it renewed. I mean, I got it restored, I guess. I got it restored, right? Because they like suspended one of my apps. But since then, I've been like really nervous about making any changes to it because, it was just this thing. So by the time, and so it wasn't like so I had a whole bunch of apps on Google Play, And some of them I've unpublished, some of them I have published, but when they terminated my account, they all just said removed, all of them. I couldn't even remember which ones I'd removed, whatever. So we slowly went through the process of restoring them. We did one of them and it was suspended immediately, like as soon as we put it back. So we had to appeal that. And it was just kind of this like really, so the whole time where lockdown was happening, everyone said, how was COVID affecting your applications? I was like, I'm still like trying to get back on my feet. So it's been kind of strange from that. So, but my revenue is lower, but I don't think my revenue is lower because of COVID. I think, so that's, it's kind of one of those things where I wish I had like, okay, here's my stats right here, and here's the exact same thing, but the variable that's really different in the two of those is that my apps were like removed, and then I've been putting them back. So, Morandier, hey, how's it going? Says, hello, I have a question. Should I add keywords / subtitle words to my package name or just the com app name? I don't think it could hurt. I mean, one of my big applications was called com.microphone.earspy, and it had that keyword in there. It wasn't on purpose. It was because the developers were just like, oh, we just, it doesn't matter what you call it. And I was like, no, it should be Overpass. Everything should say Overpass in it. So it went out like that, and you couldn't change it once you started getting downloads to it, which kind of sucked. And I don't know if it helped or not, but I don't think it would hurt. Because I've seen all the copycats do the same thing, right? They're just copying me like, it's like just some dumb luck, right? And so whatever works. But I don't think it could hurt. I mean, just having as much. I mean, you should put keywords. Like, so let's just say I just want to make sure that I have every base covered. Would I put keywords in the image names of the screenshots? Yeah, I kind of would. Would I put keywords in the? Would I see if I could get people to leave keywords in the reviews? Yeah, I probably would. Would I leave? You want to put, get those keywords in as many places as you can. I mean, it's not going to hurt. You're not spamming anybody. You're just trying to make sure that people who are looking for it can find it. Is something we should all try. Is this the app gallery? I know, I really should. Does keywords, etc., help with the store search? It does. I mean, you also have, so in the beginning, like all things being equal, if nobody had any downloads, the keywords would definitely be what does. But you've also got the backlinks, the downloads, you've got the reviews, you got all this kind of stuff. And I did a video a few years ago where I was talking about how my app was ranking for things that I didn't even have any keywords on, nothing in the backlinks, nothing, but people were leaving reviews and they were mentioning this kind of stuff. So if you get people to leave keywords in your reviews, then that would be, that would be amazing, right? Because that would help, that kind of stuff. Mujib says, what's your opinion about the new AdMob account as they get limited for many months and then get disabled? Looks like AdMob is no more likely to be used for Android apps, especially in Asian countries. I don't know. There was I haven't watched it, but there was at the Firebase Summit this week, they did have a talk about optimizing your ad revenue using Firebase. So I don't think that Google's like, they're not distancing themselves from AdMob. But I think they've probably got so much trouble with scammers and people trying to cheat the system that they're just, that algorithm is working overtime to stop anybody from being cheated by having false clicks or whatever negative clicks on their applications. I've had this question, time and again where people say, if I use a VPN and did self-clicking, could they catch me? And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, it's like, doing the self-clicking and everything is, and there's so many people. I think the majority of us just want to produce our applications, but we also want to be able to do that for a living. And since a lot of people don't want to pay for these applications, advertising is a good way to do that, right? But there's other people who see as advertising as being like this. I could get really rich really quickly with just serving ads, so they focus on the ads first and then try to build an app around that, and that doesn't quite work, right? You should be focused on the application yourself. So I think that's one of the reasons why AdMob is cracking down a lot more on that, because there's a lot more people going into the market. One of my most popular videos is where I talk about my ad revenue. And, and part of me thinks that I hope I don't contribute to the problem of people thinking that it's going to be this easy way to make money, because, it's not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily easy, but it's just, it's your focus not on your focus shouldn't be on raising their ad revenue. The focus should be on bringing in users into your application and getting those downloads up. And I think AdMob would definitely help you in that kind of way. Zero Supremacy. I love chili dogs. Thank you for reading the description on the live stream. God, now I'm getting hungry. I skipped lunch. No, I didn't skip lunch. I mean, I skipped lunch. Like, I usually, I'm American. I overeat at every meal. But I just had like a pot of yogurt and some fruit at lunch, thinking, you know what, I need to do something about this. And then now it's like nearly 5 o'clock, and I'm like, ooh, chili dogs sound good. I'm just gonna have a nest. I'm gonna murder whatever dinner I have tonight. Putting out Theo Taylor says, putting out a Facebook ad while Eric is talking about Facebook ads. Oh, cool. Good luck. Rad Games. Hey, how's it going? That's a cool name. Rad. I used to say rad all the time. It's just natural. It's like when I was a kid and you see people like who grew up in the 60s, they would say groovy, it's like, whatever, right? That's kind of rad's become that. In fact, rad became that, and then now it's even, we're past the stage where it was cool to be like, say, 80s stuff. Biswajit, hey, how's it going? Biswajit, Carol VDW, hey, how's it going? Sorry, we started the live stream a little bit early because the time zone difference. Let's see. Ignacio says, what store makes better revenue for you, iOS or Android? Android does for me, but iOS does on a per user basis. So again, it's about that case of getting your downloads up. If I had more downloads and more users on iOS, I would be making more money from iOS. Let's see. Rodriguez says, I don't have IAP, so I can't say, but maybe it's worth to at least upload all those that don't have an IAP. Did you like AdMob work okay with it and everything? Rad Game says, I'm an indie game developer. Can you see me my store in Google Play called Rad Games? Yep, let's have a look. If it's cool or not. Yeah, we might as well just have a look. Okay. All right. So you got looks like a lot of drivers and Unity stuff. Let's have a look at your featured one. RTS Battle Pro, 46. Is this it's a Pro one? Is this a purchase? Oh, but no sandbox and Dynasty. Please update. What does that mean? Let's go. You love the double vowels, don't you, Rad Games? Take your enemy down. Different maps. Create your army to win. It looks really cool. I'm always impressed with 3D games though, just because they look so complicated to me, because I've never really learned Unity. See, we got Battle Simulator. Create your own army to win. Huh. How's it doing? 5,000 plus installs. Last updated April. I think it looks cool. Like, the question was whether or not I think it looks cool. Yeah, I do think it looks cool. Oleg says, hey, Eric, have you seen The Social Dilemma Netflix? Any thoughts? Fear? Should we try to escape the AI trap? Yeah, I did. I saw it a few weeks ago, and I had my son watch it. I've been asking everybody, have you seen it? Because we've been talking for years about, they're stealing your data. If you're not paying for it, then you're you're what's being sold and all this kind of stuff. And we kind of know that. It's like we know that they got all our data, all this kind of stuff, and we're being watched. And I've got Amazon speakers all over this flat, right? And so it's kind of one of those things we just do. But what really got me about The Social Dilemma was that talking about the AI and how AI is polarizing things because it's giving us what we want to see. It's giving it and it was kind of one of those things where I'd heard, like a few years ago, I remember seeing a TED talk about AI with ads, and I thought about it a lot with Google ads, because they said like AI, it's so efficient at giving the right, like, because it doesn't think what's right and what's wrong. It has no ethics. So like if it could show an ad to somebody like like an ad for a casino to compulsive gamblers who are trying to avoid that kind of stuff, not realizing that that's, you know, they're more susceptible to click on it, so they can like identify who those people are. And I think it was kind of one of those things too with the social media, and that made that really interesting point where if everything you see like in the news or, you know, in your social media feed or on Google is a way you think, you can't understand why anybody would think the other way. Like, and this is one of those things. What the reason why I dodged the Biden or Trump thing earlier is because I've been in England for a long time, and I know what it's like to be in. You're like looking at things from a different lens, right? You're always looking at like it's. I remember when I was 17. You know, in high school in San Diego. And San Diego, despite it being California, is at least where I lived, is a very conservative place. It's a Navy town, right? California is a very liberal country, a liberal state, very much democratic, right? And San Diego is very conservative Republican. So like everybody was like, you know, George Bush Sr. like was like, you know, yeah, George Bush, who would vote for Dukakis? Dukakis when in the 1988 election. And then I moved to Massachusetts the next year, and they hated George Bush. They couldn't understand how George Bush could have won the election when everybody liked Dukakis. Like, it was like they were looking at it through a different lens, and it was like, and they were passionate about it, you know, and as they were in California. So it was like you're always looking at the different lens that you're seeing things through. And when you look at the social dilemma, you're thinking, wow, you're looking at something through this lens that's been put up in front of you, and we don't have a way to empathize with the way that other people think. You know, that's why we say, oh, they're all voting for him because they're crazy, or all they're voting for him because they're, you know, crazy. Right? It's, you know, there's nobody goes and tries to think, you know, you can't just say crazy. You have to think, what are their concerns? What are they thinking about? What do they expect to be delivered by that candidate? And what do they expect to be? And then try to, like, you know, look at both sides of it. And then that was a cool, the very interesting thing about the social dilemma, how, you know, we're all looking at, you know, like we're looking at things in different ways, and, you know, we're all looking at different news. Whereas prior to, I mean, I kind of thought, well, we have like different types of newspapers, we have different cable news stations, all that kind of stuff. But no, in the end, it was, you know, just that. I thought it was a really interesting one. What did you guys think? Did you see it? Travel Droner says, hey, Eric, I hope you're fine. I changed my mind and not doing a rewards app. Thanks for your feedback. Yeah, like, this is my opinion. Like, just my opinion. I'd rather develop a hyper-casual game. What do you think about that route? Thanks for the live stream. Keep it up. It sounds like it'd be, yeah, I think saying you want to do a hyper-casual game is like saying you want to make an action movie, right? It's kind of like, I kind of get it. I get it. Like, I think it's really cool, but I don't, yeah, that alone, it doesn't mean it's going to work. You're going to have to come up with that really good idea, that thing that you think is going to work really, really well, and then, you know, go in that way. But yeah, if it's something that you're really interested in, if you're passionate about hyper-casual games, rather than you think it'll be successful because of what it is, then I think that sounds cool. But like for me, I would love to do a finance app, but, you know, like, I don't really have, you know any much more than that. And it's like, you know, like I said, I'd like to do a finance app because they make a lot of money. And then, you know, but then it's like, well, you know, you have to look at how, with a hyper casual app, I think my biggest concern would be discoverability, like how much competition is out there and how can you get discovered. But dude, like, you know, people love those apps. Like, if you could get the users and if you get them addicted to it and in their, you know, I mean, that would just be nirvana. But I've never had that kind of success with those kind of things. Marco Soares says, hey, Eric, how's it going? How long can it take for... I'm doing good. It's going really well, thanks. How long can it take for AdMob to start showing real ads on the app? Test ads are working fine, but no real ads are loaded. None? Like, is it? Yeah, I mean, is it still showing test ads? I mean, on your test device, it should always show test ads. But I mean, I think when you go live, you should see. I mean, even if it's limited, you should still see some real ads. Let's see. But yeah, and even then, like, because you said the eCPM floor, because you might want to say you want to show your own custom ad for like maybe another one of your applications if Google doesn't have anything to show. So and that's one of the things. I don't think it's changed recently, but I used to have house ads, what they were called house ads. I think they're called something different now, where you could say, okay, if I'm not going to get 5 cent eCPM or whatever, 10 cent or whatever, $1 eCPM, I'd rather show one of my own ads, right? It's rather, so it doesn't make sense to be able to show like a test ad to your users. I got Mohammed says I got 13,000 downloads in the first 3 days, and they canceled the app for plus 18 ads when the app is marketed for plus 18. What should I do? I would say appeal it because it's did they remove the app or did they remove the ads? Yeah, I mean if you yeah, that doesn't sound right. I mean the fact that they have 18 plus 18 ads. Are you Mohammed? Are you using AdMob for that? Because or using a different network? That's another reason why I always was afraid of like leaving AdMob, was because I thought like there would be like having two different parties involved, and I was like, if I'm with AdMob with Android, then at least I'll know that maybe they would talk to each other a little bit better. But I would just the only thing I think of to do would be to appeal. Thanks for the suggestion. You're welcome. Street Coder says, Eric, do you have an idea? If I use a web scraper to take the data from different websites, can Google Play suspend my app because of that? Well, I wouldn't do it in the app itself. I mean, I'm assuming you'd have like some sort of server process or even just a cron job on your own machine, like a Windows task scheduler or whatever, running on your own machine that would scrape and get that data. I don't think it would. I think if it was proprietary data, like, you got to think about if it was something where, to me, I think if it was something where if I was to create an admin interface, like sports scores is a good example of one, right? If I wanted to have like baseball scores, and I'd create a web scraper that would get those baseball scores. First of all, whichever website I scraped from, that's more what I'd be concerned with, because they would limit that kind of stuff. If you've ever tried to scrape Google Play or because there's tools out there that will do it to scrape the Play Store to get the ASO stats, right? You can't do it too frequently because it catches on to you and says, actually, that's not the normal speed of a human reader, right? So that kind of stuff. But I mean, I assume that your structure would be that you would have a database somewhere in the cloud, or on a server in the cloud, and you would have an API to it, and then whatever process, your web scraper would not be on the client app itself, right? And so Google Play doesn't know where that data came from. So I think to me it doesn't seem like it would be. I mean, don't like if it does get suspended, it depends on what it is. Like if you're like copying like proprietary, like say news headlines or something like that, and you're copying them, that's kind of like that's their property, whatever. But if it's something like weather or stuff that you could easily just sit there and key it in, then I think you'd be okay. Could be wrong. Let me know. Does anybody disagree with that? And Travel Drone says, what do you think about letting a publisher taking over to make it worldwide, to make it a worldwide hit if they've done it before it's going to cost a percentage, but I think 50% of $1 million is better than of 10 million is better than 100% of 300,000 installs. That's true. I mean, if you know of any, I don't have a lot of experience with going with a publisher. I just never trusted them. But I mean, if you can, I would imagine you'd have to sell it to the publisher though. Like you would have to like sell the concept to them. Rodriguez, AppMop seems fine on this is on App Gallery. Not sure I would filter the App Gallery users, but in AdMob I could try later. Buwan says, How to find free project mentors. I don't know what a project mentor would be. Thanks everybody for liking, by the way, and subscribing and commenting and just being you. Thank you for being you. Yeah, I don't know what a project mentor is. Right, Gabe said, thanks, no problem. Kane says he probably means that nothing gets rendered when you use the read admob ID. Oh, okay, so yeah, we're talking about like the test ads. Yeah, if nothing gets rendered, then that's one thing. I think that you might want to look at some mediation, but because of the limitations. But let's see. Marco Soros says requests are coming through. I can see them on AdMob console. When I test and put test ads, it shows the test ads. But when I switch to the real ad, it says error code 1, but everything is correct. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, this is one of those things you need to check to see whether or not. Okay? So there's a delay, so you can see whether or not there's an impression. Sorry, not an impression. A request on the AdMob console. However, usually the error 1, you should see something more in Logcat. You should see something to say like ads limited or whatever, ad serving limited, or there's nothing available or something like that. Rodrigo says, pro tip, everyone should set up house ads. If you don't have anything to show, which can happen, at least you promote one of your other apps. Better than nothing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to have that blank space. You might as well, how do I set up house ads? Rodrigo says, think of building a scraper for the entire web, collecting some data. That's how Google started. I think they wanted to catalog the entire internet. How do you set up house ads? It's been a while since I've done it, but it's it should be easy to do it. Like I said, I don't know if they're still called house ads. Thanks for answering my It'll be a 3D unique concept game, not out there with no forced ads, but upgrades for player characters. No, that sounds cool. Sour May says, just subscribe. Thank you very much. Sour May. Zero Supremacy says, I'm making a Chrome extension using Instagram's private API, but that's risky since it's against their terms of service. Yeah, it is. But yeah, how many things do we use which are like some secret API that nobody knows about? And yeah, I mean that's just a risk you're gonna have to take. Travel Droder says, no, it's not sold. You own everything. They make a contract, they advertise it, and tell you what to change in the game. So for them to be able to make it a hit. Yeah, no, what I mean, you sell it to them. I mean, you have to sell the idea to them. Like if I went to them and said, I went to a publisher and I want to make a game that does this, this, and this, then they would have to say yes or no. I mean, you have to sell them the concept rather than to sell the property of it. But yeah, take what you mean. Let's see. Rodriguez says, looks like Huawei published some code for Cordova Ionic to make IAP work. Oh, cool. And Sour May says, how can I find a contract based on app development jobs? I have been struggling to find any lately. Any suggestions? Sour May, I guess it depends on where you are. Like for me, my website of choice was always, and it's been a while, it's been JobServe here in the UK. It's just one. I mean, there's loads of them like that. You go in and you're looking for a contract. I remember the first contract I did, I was so nervous because I wasn't sure if I was a permanent employee, and I kind of felt like a fraud going in for a contract work. And I just love it. I mean, I love being a contractor as opposed to being a permanent employee. Like my education was up to me. Like it was sort of like I'm always looking at the job market, right? Where other people were in a job and they were like, they either thought they were going to be there forever or they didn't really know or anything. They were just kind of like hoping that there wasn't redundancies or anything. I was like, I knew when my end date was. Like as a contractor, it's always like it's a 3 or 6 month contract. So I know like, okay, so in November, I got to be marketable. So what, so and lead up to that, like what do I have to do for my profile, for my CV? What do I have to do? What skills do I have to learn before I get to that point? And then that way you have that flexibility because you think, okay, I've worked hard at being marketable, they could more often than not they would want to renew my contract. But there've been times and people tell you you're crazy for this because the money was really good, but you're like, I'm going to leave this contract to go find something else, and they're like, and they're like, oh, but you already have something else lined up. And it was like, they couldn't understand why you'd want to do it, but you just get to the point you're bored. Like, you're so, you're spending all that time, picking up other skills. So like, let's say I'm like learning ASP, or I was using ASP, but I was learning C# on the side, or I'm learning apps as I'm working on SharePoint. It's like, there's always this, like, there's the thing that I'm doing every day. And a lot of times there's some crossover because, it's still programming. But like there's still that other thing which is kind of building up over here, right? And then I can make that transition. And you wouldn't believe how often I've got contracts and stuff which I've never been paid to do, but I had really like sharp skills on it. And so that's something that I really love doing. So yeah, so Sour May, let's see, UK based. Let's have a look at a UK job board. Why don't we? Since we're early with the live stream today. So let me show you which one of the ones I look at here. Let's go to jobserve.com. Again, this is a UK one. I think is it .co.uk? Might be .co.uk. So here we go. And this is one that I use for like JobServe. So like what you guys were asking, I'm gonna go with let's go with Didcot, which is where I live now. Say within 50 miles, I would go in here. I will find a job type of contract. Yeah, I'll go contract, and I would go see React Native. And again, I haven't done this in a while, so who knows what I'm gonna come up with. I do my search. I can say, okay, here we got Python, JavaScript, nope, 300, 400 a day, 500 a day. I mean, a lot of people will be going for these, but like contract full developer, JavaScript, React Native, OAuth, whatever. And then just going down there to see what it is. Like I typed in React Native, but a lot of these things are JavaScript with TypeScript. German translator, website analyst. So some of these are, kind of off the beaten track, but yeah. So let's just to do. Let's go just to. So I put in. So I got 26 jobs within. This is contract jobs. If I were to go in and I was interested in either contract or permanent, there would be, again, I just do contracts. Like if I was going to do anything, I'll pay 117 React Native jobs, and let's compare that with Flutter, just because I haven't done this in a while. And if I was going to say Flutter jobs, one. To answer the question, let's do iOS. 25. So again, React Native, you see that, and then we just go Android. And again, there's be some crossover with like a React Native job posting might say Android and iPhone or whatever. But like this is one of the websites I use just for IT jobs. And I was using this like 15 years ago. I don't even, there may be a better one out there, but this is still the go-to when I'm like feeling like I need to find something better. So here we go, lead Android developer, working for a revolutionary leader in the retail banking space. Oh, if you get into banking, with a primary focus on exceptional customer employee satisfaction, having good people skills. My client is looking for a lead Android developers, VBB. So get an idea of what kind of skills you might be interested in, so you can look up in it. Although, a lot of us learn Firebase, but this one has Firebase, which is totally different. Obviously, a recruiter wrote that one. Let's see. But yeah. So Robert T says AdMob ads show regardless of where the user downloads the app from. Oh yeah, I guess so. But AdMob also works on devices that don't have Google Play services installed. Yeah, I always wondered though, like if they actually have a link. So like if I had a Huawei phone that doesn't have Google Play App Store installed, how would the ad still be served to that one? Like if I was to click on an ad for an application and it tries to take me to Play Store and Play Store is not installed, would that actually work? But I mean, it's one of those things where I think Cole Eves, Eric, can you speak on imposter syndrome? I'm a developer and I have 5 years experience with increasing skill and pay, but I still feel so dumb sometimes. Other people around me appear to be geniuses. They're all lying, Colt. Look, this is one of the things, like there's always going to be better developers than you and there's always going to be worse developers than you, right? And it's and for me, like I prefer to work with people who are smarter than me, but I don't want them to know that they're smarter than me. Like it's like, you know, because it raises my game. Like like I said, I'm doing a contract 3 days a week at the moment. I'm working with really good developers, and it's like, I'm my code has to be better than normal because I want them to, it's like I'm trying to impress them in some ways, but at the same time I'm not going to, like, I still it's that imposter syndrome is like just like a normal thing, right? Because if you genuinely believe you know more than everybody else does, and then you're not stretching far enough. If you don't feel like a fraud sometimes, you're not pushing yourself hard enough, right? You've always got to be growing, and and when you're complacent and feel like, oh, I'm perfectly suited for this place, then you're like, dude, you're gonna become part of the furniture if you don't push yourself a little bit further and try to expand a little bit more. And I think that's a normal feeling that everybody has. I do. I mean, dude, man, I'm doing a live stream on Friday night talking to all you guys, right? And I'm just like in my flat, right? And God, the worst. I went to China in 2009 to talk about Overpass. Overpass, which consisted of one guy. I met with all these Chinese companies, like huge companies, and I'm getting there. And I tell you what, I've never had imposter syndrome as big as I had then, right? I'm talking about Overpass can help you get clients in England, right? We could work together. You work as an offshore developer, and they were like, everybody was like really cool. And it was the nice thing was because I spoke Chinese, I could like use some of that. And I never did anything with them, like anything with any of those Chinese companies, right? And it was like, but it was just that, if you try things, you get, you got to be better at things. It's like, and I think we all kind of feel that imposter syndrome at times. If you don't, I think there's something wrong with you, or you're not pushing yourself hard enough, right? I think about, I mean, who wants to be that guy who's like, I'm the king of this castle? Well, actually, no. Okay, I've worked with lots of people like this, where they're just like, I've been working at this company for 20 years as a senior developer, and this is the way we do things around here, right? And they're just they're the king of the hill, and they're just, the king of their castle. And when they go home, they're on the train. They're just the same as everybody else, but they're the king of the castle. And then when there's like a huge job redundancies and the economy goes south and they haven't been working on it because they haven't been pushing themselves harder to think, even though I'm the best at this, I'm still really bad at this over here. I'm still like, and trying to get better at something. And sometimes to get better at something, you have to say, yeah, I can handle that. Even though like you're in way over your head, right? They're the people who get like walking out of with the cardboard box saying, how can I ever get paid the same as I was getting paid there before, because nobody's going to hire me at that same salary because I've been there for 20 years. I don't know. Maybe that's just being very cynical, but I think imposter syndrome is a very normal thing. And I can't see anybody I wouldn't want to know anybody who didn't feel like deep down, like, I may have bitten off more than I could chew, right? But that's it. You bite off more than you could chew, and then you scramble to make it work. Oleg says, if you hire a developer, what primary qualities they should have? By the way, I didn't notice you have ever worked with devs from ex-Soviet countries. I've worked with developers in Poland. I think the qualities is just being able to finish things. I mean, I've worked with so many developers. Like, it's kind of weird. When I first started hiring people, I was amazed at how many people were experts and they didn't know how to publish an app, right? Like, it's like, have you never got to that point where you actually finished something and published it to the store? Like, why does everything feel like it's the first time? Because like you can find loads of books about how to code in Android and how to code in iOS and how to code in whatever, but like because the publishing process changes so often, you don't find a whole lot of statistics about that. So So that's one of those things. It's just that you know. Matthew Creek says, my app, Silver and Gold Melt Price Calculator, recently received the 10,000th download. Congratulations, Matthew. Let's see. What's that looks ancient jobs? It does. It looks exactly the same as it did 15 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how, like, agreed. This is ugly. This website. I guess I assume there's a better one out there, but this is the one I always go to. Colt says, Eric, is it difficult to budget around contract work? The idea sounds freeing, but also stressful because you can't find/get the work, and then the rent may not be paid. But this is why you get paid a lot more as a contractor. So the last time I was a permanent job, I was getting paid. Again, this was a long time ago. This is 2003. I was making $38,000 a year. The years prior to that, I was in investment bank, so I went from like 26,000 to 26,000, which at the time in 1998 was just like, I couldn't believe they were paying me that much money. Especially I was just like learning as quickly as I could. Again, imposter syndrome up the butt, because I was like trying to keep, they hired me with little experience, and I was like reading everything I could just to keep up with everything. And then each year I got a salary increase, and I went to this company, small company, and I took a little bit of a pay cut, but it was closer to home. And I worked it for 3 years and got, no pay. The pay stayed the same. It was stagnant. Although there was a bonus each year, but they said, oh, the economy, there's no bonus. So it was kind of this thing. And I guess I was at 38,000. I guess I was making 138 a day. Then I took on a contract. It was like, my first contract was like 230 a day, which was like a lot more. And then it was, then I had another contract for 350 a day. And then it was like 400 a day, and then at 500 a day, and just sort of like each time. So it was like I was making, and I was also, because I'd been through this awful period of like being out of work, that I was like, I wasn't spending that money. I was like constantly, like I said, I was watching that end date. I never made the assumption that my contract was going to be renewed, right? Even though I worked with other contractors who did assume that they would get that renewal, I kind of just assumed that renewal wasn't coming. Right? I kind of assume that, I have to be marketable at that point. And that's where you get really sharp. And it's like, and it is, I wouldn't take on a contract where you're making the same amount of money you would at a permanent job cold. I would take on something where you were making at least double or hopefully triple of what you would be making. And I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm in the money, I'm going to go out and buy a nice car, although guilty, right? But like, you just, you're putting that aside because you're thinking about, how much time, like always thinking about how much time can I be out of work, right? So there's been times where there's been time I took a year and a half off of work to work on Overpass, right? And I had no revenue coming from Overpass. I was just getting things ready, right? And I wish I could say in the grand scheme of things, it was all part of the plan, but it was really just procrastinating. But then, and then you get to the point where, dude, money's starting to run out. I got to take on a contract. So then you start looking again, and but you're responsible for your own marketability. So this ugly JobServe website, I would look at this a lot just to see what skills were in demand. Like I said, I just did now. I did React Native, I did Flutter. It's one Flutter job going in a 50-mile radius, and that doesn't include London, I don't think. It includes half of London. And there's like 200. It was like 100 and something React Native ones. So you can see that where that kind of stuff is. Firebase, yeah. Firebase, yeah, the cool. Why there no many Xamarin developers? Any idea about the future? Do you advise to shift to Flutter? I like Flutter. I like the platform and everything like that. But obviously, like I've looked at this before. There's not a whole lot of Flutter jobs out there. And it's, if I were to do a Xamarin, let's do a Xamarin search on the same website. Just have a look. So if I was going to do Xamarin, and you're right, this is an ugly, old website. I was going to Xamarin. Okay, 4 jobs in a 50-mile radius. So yeah, there's like, again, just compare that to React Native. Where I have 118 senior. Actually, some of these are React Native developer, React developer. Some of them, I think, this is one of the things when you look at some of these sites, they're a lot of these jobs are posted by recruiters who know very little about the technology of it, and they're just looking for the people. So some of this is not React Native, but it's React itself. And some of it just looks like it's just JavaScript with TypeScript. Here we go, React, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Chord Funk, what up? What I miss? Oh, just not much. We're gonna wrap up things here really quick, but yeah, we did the live stream early today, Chord Funk. Sorry about it. Can we bring our Google Play console back after suspension? Yes, I've done it. You just have to appeal it. Though I actually have less than 3,000 still with me. Oh, you're talking about the 10,000 download? Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's like when I got the 10 million downloads, it was like I think I had 200,000 current. So it's just kind of the thing. Let's see. Great question. Also, so really smart. Okay. Marco says, I've been learning Flutter for a year and developing my app for that long. Should I learn some native development to add certain functionalities in the future or outsource the work? I think it'd be good to learn it. Like it'll give you a lot more control over it. Because otherwise you'll have that dependency on other people all the time. 你好, zero supremacy. 你今天怎么样? 我不知道你可以写 EDR 中文，但是我可以说 EDR. That's I was just saying. I was talking about the new Firebase summit in Chinese. W041 Fennel says, hi, I love you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I personally can't imagine people. Corfunk says, I personally can't imagine people not going to shift towards Flutter. Saves so much time, even when compared to something like React Native. Yeah, I know. It's kind of these things where it is weird. I kind of wonder whether or not it's like a lot of developers are going into Flutter, and so there's not a lot of jobs because, it's kind of weird that there's not. It's one of these things, like I'm a developer and I think Flutter is exciting, right? But if I was a business owner, I might not feel the same way because it's like I might just be thinking, well, just what are people using? Oh, let's go React. Yeah, people seem to be using that. What's this language done in? Let's do that. Whatever. So I don't know. What exactly do you mean by contract? Work X time on a random project? How do you get used to pick up projects like that without knowing the inner workings? So like a contract would be usually a time-based contract. So it'd be something like, say, 6 months. Say 6 months, Monday to Friday, on a certain day rate or an hourly rate, and you just go in. I've had contracts at investment banks where they had nothing for me to do for like 3 months. It was weird. Like every day I'd go in and they're like, "Oh no, Eric, we're just waiting for sign off on this project." And you just sit there. You're not allowed to look at the internet. Okay, at the time, you weren't allowed to look at the internet. I'm just sitting there. I nearly quit. It was like my first investment bank contract. I was getting paid so much money, but I was bored. It was like, you just sit there, like we're just sitting there and you're just like looking at the corporate, internet, and you just like, if you guys have ever done this, where you open up an Excel workbook and just start trying to draw shapes with the cells by like typing stuff in, and I'd be like trying to make my eyes all funny to see if I can make the room look different. I was just like passing time, waiting till 5:30 so I could leave, and I was so bored I nearly quit. And then all of a sudden I just got really busy. Then because I kept trying to like, you guys need help with this project? I want to help. Like in the end, they kept me there I was there working there for years, and I was like involved in so many different projects, and it was like in the end, not to boast, but I kind of became like a go-to guy on a lot of stuff because I think it's because of my technical skills, but not just my tech. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are technically smarter than me, but I think I had very good people skills too. Whereas like that, for some reason, I could explain things to people in a non-technical way a little bit easier than other people could, which was cool. Matthew Creek, is it possible for it to offer an in-app purchase for a discounted price from Black Friday to Christmas? Probably. The only thing is about doing that, the discounted price, you have to make sure that they know it's a discounted price. Otherwise, there's no point. Let's just think of some plugin development. Easy way to ease into native development. That's a good idea, CordFunk. I did that. Yeah, that's really good. I started with a news website with apps. Can you have a look? It's BM Global News. Sure, Bupinder, let's have a look. And then, so after Street Coder, we're gonna stop because I gotta get some food, man. That pot of yogurt sounded like a good idea earlier, but I really should have gone for a toasted cheese sandwich. Let's see, BM Global News. Oh, BM, is it named it Global News? Is BM after Bupinder? Let's see. I can't find it. Okay, so you put like a space at the beginning? No, I can't find it, Bupinder. Oh, it's a news website, not an app. Okay. I'm going to get the latest news from the world. Oh, how are you sourcing all these articles? Are you using one of those plugins? We had one like that where we used like a Code Canyon plugin, which would go and retrieve these news from all these different stuff. But I'm wondering, so yeah, if I was to go to like into that one, BM Global News, admin. Wondering if this is like a WordPress plugin. I think I used one. Because it's got to come from somewhere, right? Yeah, AP. Cool. Let's see. Okay, what was it? What am I missing? Flutter, Xamarin, React. Can you sort it by maker needs? Yeah, I guess it depends. If you're creating an application, I think you should go with the language or if you're creating your own application, you should go with the language you feel most comfortable with. If you're going for a job, you should go with the one that's most in demand. It's a news website and an app. Okay, cool. We looked at that one. Robert T, thanks for the good live stream, Eric. As always, appreciate hearing your take on things. Thanks, Robert, for joining. I got pizza waiting since last week. I'm so hungry. Let's see. And then Matthew says, you know how to put an app purchase on sale. No, I don't. I think there's a way to do it. Is it on iOS or Android? I know they came out with some way to have promotions, but I'm not sure. In the past, I've always just changed the price, but Anyway, that's it for this week's live stream. Sorry we started an hour earlier than normal, but I might stick with this time. Then we're not conflicting with Steve's live stream if we do that. But it's kind of nice to do it a little bit like an hour earlier. So anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks very much for the questions. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the subscribing. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll talk to you again next week.